Yo, what is up, guys? We're back with another mock draft. Today, we are going to be reviewing another Josh Edwards mock draft. My GOAT, my king, my glory, all glory to Josh Edwards. But we will be reviewing another mock draft, 2026 mock draft. Cowboys trade up star defender as one pick is made for each NFL team. Let's make a bet. How many times can I say mock draft in the next 10 seconds? Mock draft, 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 blah, blah, blah. I don't know. I wasn't even counting my head. I was just saying it until I got sick of it. We got sick of it. We're gonna start. Realistic Fernando Mendoza, quarterback out of Indiana. Easy peasy, lemon squeezy. This is an easy, super easy pick. The reason why is because Fernando Mendoza is probably the best quarterback in the NFL. Not in the NFL, the college football scheme. So why would you not take him? Team. Okay, well, there's a couple reasons why you would not take him. If you already have a franchise quarterback set in place, maybe you don't do that. Maybe if you're like the Bengals picking first overall, you're not going to take a quarterback here because Joe Burrow is fine, right? But the thing is, their quarterback situation isn't fine. I know they did paying big Kirko chains a bunch of quarterbacks money, like 5 years, 172 million. I'm not very concerned that's going to be your guy moving forward for 5 years. I mean, they just had so much money to spend because now that Max Crosby's gone, they just had so much money to spend. So I guess you got Mendoza here. I don't know what else to say. I mean, like, it's the easiest pick. They have a quarterback vacancy. Kirk Cousins isn't moving the needle for me. So if you take Fernando Mendoza here, you get long-term quarterback future and honestly a bunch of upside. So not a bad option to see. Justin David Bailey, edge out of Texas Tech. I'm not gonna lie, Mr. Edwards. I don't like it. I view David Bailey as probably one of the most asterisk-based prospects. He has one of the best spin moves I've ever seen. He has really good footwork and speed. Problem is his bend. He doesn't look fluid. Like he just doesn't have like the fluidity. Like I don't know. Just like sometimes on tape, I just don't like it. Sometimes I know that's not a very like good analysis saying, oh, I just don't like it. Like obviously there's needs, but some of the reasons why I don't like it is because he's just not like I don't see the fluidness on tape, and that's what I really want from an edge rusher is him being fluid. Obviously strength is a big part, which he also lacks. So that's also another big part. Like, if you can get to the quarterback, that's good. But against some of these longer arm tackles, sometimes you might fail a little bit because you don't just look good and you can't bend past them. So that's a big issue. But the spin move is good. The bag is okay. It's decent. And his speed and getting to the quarterback ability in college has been top notch. So maybe you just ignore some of the red flags. I think you can definitely do that, but I just don't know. I don't know. Cardinals 6 Styles linebacker of Ohio State. Not a bad option. This team could use another linebacker. The problem is, I feel like the board is too good right now because, again, David Bailey, I don't know how viewed as a top edge rusher in this class. Well, he's a top edge rusher in this class, but I don't view him as the best one. And Bain takes the cake for me in that. Even Arbor Reese, if you classify him as an edge. I classify him more as a linebacker / edge. I think you should have the slash in there because he played 50-50, so it wasn't just one or the other, right? But we'll get there when we talk about Arbor Reese. I think the board for how well this team is, I think Bain makes the most sense. Magno makes the most sense. And Reese makes the most sense. I had Reese mocked on Wednesday when I did my mock draft on Wednesday. Like, those make the most sense versus Sonny Styles, who honestly, like, as much as I love Sonny Styles, I can definitely see him failing in the NFL, mainly because he doesn't have the athleticism there, the tackling's there, the technique is there. The only problem is sometimes he gets too aggressive. Like, sometimes I feel like he bites too hard and he's kind of caught getting past some of these key like areas he needs to be in, and he gets caught on blocks sometimes. I'm not saying not saying like he won't be able to fix that, but like sometimes he just has to develop that. I'm confident he will, but if he doesn't, he's not going to be that like impactful in the NFL for a 3rd overall pick, regardless, even just maybe even like a 2nd overall pick or 2nd round pick. Like maybe you won't even be that impactful then if he just can't seem to if he seems to bite. And unlike college, these guys are all pro for a reason. All of these guys, regardless if they're a 3rd stringer or 1st stringer, regardless from Jahmyr Gibbs to I don't know Devin Singletary, right? Those guys will make you pay if you mess up. And I'm not saying everyone has perfect games in the NFL. I'm saying that sometimes athleticism can't bail you out all the time. That's why I have a big knock on Kojic Folk sometimes, is because his athleticism doesn't bail him out all the time. So like you have that. I'm not saying his athleticism bails him out in college. I'm saying that like sometimes if you mess up, it's gonna be more prominent in the NFL, obviously, because there's a bunch of better people in the NFL, because college football players don't go pro. There's a reason why it's called pro in college football. So that's my biggest issue. But regardless, he has freakishly size, athleticism. He's honestly just a good player. So there is a good amount of bust factor to him though. But like I wouldn't really knock a team. I feel like the board is too well for this pick though. So that's my whole issue. But and this team does need a lot more in the trenches than linebackers. So and how deep this linebacker class is, I know St. Louis is in tier of his own in terms of linebackers in this class, but how deep this class is, I'm comfortable taking a edge here or a tackle here, and then taking a linebacker later on if you really like a linebacker that much in this class. So that's my opinion. Time to go Jeremiah Love, running back out of Notre Dame. This makes 1,010% sense. This is, again, another developmental piece to help Cam Ward. It's another good piece to eventually use him kind of like Brian Daboll used Saquon Barkley back in New York. Like, this is honestly a really good pick. Like, I don't know. I think with this whole area of like terrible weapons for Cam Ward and Calvin Ridley, Alec Amador, who have been like fine, and there's Chamari DK who have been fine. I think they need a little bit more, and I wouldn't dislike taking Jeremiah Love here. So we're gonna go Jeremiah Love here. Makes a lot of sense. His whole poise and his idea to keep on fighting and keep on getting the extra yards, just like elite running backs do in the NFL, and that separates the good running backs from the elite ones, is them actually having the poise and the pressure to go and get more yards if they can. So I don't dislike Jeremiah Love here. Trying to take wide receiver Conte out of Ohio State University, the wide receiver U. So with the amount of things that they lost, I think Conte is 100% good. And even next to Jeremiah Smith, he still produced, which says a testament to how good both Jeremiah Smith is and Cardinal Tate. So 175 yards next to Jeremiah Smith is not bad. It really isn't bad. It's honestly above average. Like, I don't really think like that just shows testament to how dominant he was as well. 875 yards next to another generation. Not another. I don't view Conte as generational, but I view Jeremiah Smith as generational. He's probably going to be the best wide receiver we've ever seen come out of college. And that's my opinion. I would hope that a team that actually has a good history with wide receivers end up taking him, so I don't see him fail in the NFL. I'm not saying he will, but we're going to get sidetracked here. We'll talk about that after April 23rd or April 25th. So that's the whole issue with Conte, is that like maybe he isn't as generational as his teammate, but he's still good. He's still a high floor player, someone who can get it open, really good in between zone schemes. Honestly, his frame too is probably one of the better ones in this draft class. I mean, there's a lot of smaller wide receivers in this draft class too. 6'2", 192 is kind of the perfect mix of not too big, not too small. He looks fluid. His route running is crisp as it can be. So I like it a lot. It's like a crispy bacon on a Sunday morning. We're gonna go with the Cowboys here. Cowboys go here and trade back from the Browns. I'm not gonna lie. I assumed. I don't know if it's in the start, but oops, that is way too far. I just spoiled it. Regardless, I don't know if I looked at the top of the title, but Arbor Reese is here, and maybe the Browns don't like the board here, so they trade back. It's 100% a plausibility. I've had the Browns trading back in some of my Monday mock drafts, even as well. Arbor Reese is not a bad option. He has unreal strength. He's really good. I think the Cowboys need a. Honestly, this is kind of like a 2-1 for the Cowboys. I didn't even think about this. This is the 2-1 for the Cowboys. They get a linebacker, which they really struggle with, and if he doesn't work at edge rusher, you have a premier linebacker who is crazy good strength, pretty good upside. Like, I think I prefer Arbor Reese's upside than David Bailey's like impact right now, in my opinion. But I think this would be a great pick for the Cowboys, because I'm really high on Arbor Reese. I think he's not the most. Again, he's not the most developed guy ever, but I like him. So I don't dislike taking Arbor Reese here. Commanders take Caleb Downs, safety out of Ohio State. Honestly, I like this. It makes sense. I think Caleb Downs can definitely be a real piece for this team. That's just my opinion. My opinion. Don't get mad at me. But I think I love Caleb Downs as a prospect. I think he's my first on my board. Mainly because just everything he does, it just seems to work. Like I don't know. Like I feel so weird, but like I don't know. I feel like sometimes just like some of the things he do. Great grammar, by the way. About to be 18. Talking about he do, but yeah. Regardless, I think that this is definitely a really good safety. I mean, he's awesome. He knows where the play is right before it even happens. He's always seems to be in the right place. He has a crazy good tackling ability. He is super versatile. I know people like to knock him for his he's only a box safety. If you play him wherever you want to, I guarantee you he will produce. And that's my opinion. Like anywhere in the secondary, he will produce. You can even play him a fucking linebacker and he'll produce. Like not even the secondary piece, just a linebacker will produce. I think the only place in the defense he won't produce is defensive tackle. I mean, maybe he would produce at edge if you really want him to, because his tackling is that good. I mean, he is amazing. He's physical. He's has leadership in the locker room, and that's what I like more. But some of these prospects, they have leadership in the locker room. So take Caleb Downs here, you get another high floor type player, but you also get someone who just knows what they're doing. And with a team that isn't very young and have the oldest roster in the NFL, they can use a young developmental piece that can eventually lead them into better times, more younger times, and kind of get a rise out of these younger guys. So I like it a lot. Saints go Mansour Lane corner out of LSU. With how the board's fallen, I would prefer Bain here, but I don't dislike Mansour here. This team could use a corner, but especially with after letting Almonte Taylor walk. But I don't hate Mansour here. I honestly don't hate whatever team takes Mansour Lane if they have a real need for corner. Like I'm not a gigantic hater of the Giants taking Mansour here. I would prefer Mansour over Love. I wouldn't be a gigantic hater if the Cowboys took him in the scenario where they took him. I wouldn't be upset if the Commanders took him. I don't think they will, but I wouldn't be upset if the Commanders took him. Saints as well, Chiefs as well. Honestly, from this 12 from the Cowboys all the way to number 5, I wouldn't be upset if any team took Mansour, because the main reason is because they all need secondary, and secondary and corner is one of the most premier positions other than tackle and edge rusher and quarterback. I think I view secondary, specifically corner, boundary corner, the most important position for the defense, if not named edge rusher. That's my whole opinion. I think Mansour will be an amazing team for this, amazing team fit for this organization. So you're gonna take a guy here and get someone who you trust long term, not a bad option. Chiefs take Ruben Bain edge out of Miami, Florida. This makes a lot of sense. Honestly, Spagnuolo loves these big type of guys who have crazy good speed. Other than the arm measurables, he has the perfect and ideal frame. 6'2", 263. I think he measured him closely to 270 during his pro day or combine, one of the two. Where he measured, I think people marked him more as 270. I think I view him more as a 270 anyways. He's super violent. There's passion to his game. There's so much to like about him. I love him. He's probably my third or second on my big board other than Downs. He's just such a great player. And I think people are getting a little upset with his arm length. Honestly, if the production's there in college, why are we really that concerned? That's my whole pick. But regardless, you take Bain here. I love it. Bengals take Jamal McCoy corner out of Tennessee. This makes a lot of sense too. I like Jamal McCoy a lot. Other than maybe the combine and the whole season where he didn't really participate in many drills, his pro day was amazing. 4.38, like he was really good. I mean, he looked fluid. He looked like his acceleration was still there. ACL injuries are not what they used to be. I said this many months before Jamal McCoy tested out. It's because sometimes these ACL injuries maybe aren't really what they used to be, and maybe it's not. Maybe he's as good as before. Maybe not as good, but pretty damn good. Like maybe 98% as what he once was. Like that's what you want. So I don't dislike Jamal McCoy. It makes sense. Dolphins take Francis Mano offensive tackle out of Miami. This team has a lot to fill in the offensive tackle role, so I don't hate Francis here, especially with his versatility and his flexibility. It's not a bad option. I mean, honestly, his strength is unmatched in this draft class. I think the only one who's rivals it or is maybe a little bit better is Vega Ione. So we take Francis here. You get a swing tackle possibility. You get someone who can be playing elsewhere. I wouldn't hate this. I really wouldn't. I wouldn't mind another weapon because I don't know, going into the season with Malik Washington as wide receiver 1, or even like a round 4 pick, like I don't know. Let's pick on someone. Brian Thompson as your like wide receiver 1. That's a big issue. But like I wouldn't dislike taking Francis Mano here, and they also have more capital later in this first round. So maybe you take the best piece on the board in your opinion. So and you take Francis Mano here. Honestly, I wouldn't hate it. Browns take their guy, Monroe Freeling. So they trade back. This is honestly the best case scenario. They trade back, get extra capital, and they also get Monroe Freeling here. I wonder what they trade back for, but regardless, I think that's worth it because Monroe Freeling is a bat. Like, I love him as a prospect because the only reason is because you don't really see someone with this size move so quickly, and that's really good. The only problem is he's like really hard to evaluate sometimes is because like he doesn't have that much starting experience, and his strength sometimes is a little crazy, and like there's just a lot of like some things he needs to shore up, but his speed and his whole frame and his athletic ability, which you can't really teach, is one of the best. Like, do you want someone who can have immediate upside, or do you want someone who has a little bit lower on the terms of frame and area, but like has a really good skill set already? Like, which do you want? And organizations tend to lead to the more upside. So maybe you take Monroe Freeling here, you get your left tackle of the future, and you get a amazing prospect. So I don't dislike that. Rams go Spencer Fano, offensive tackle out of Utah. This is honestly very plausible too. I think the Rams can definitely be going Spencer Fano here. Main reason is because Havenstein retired, and you don't want someone to, like, you don't want a developmental tackle to immediately step in and be that guy. I mean, if you want to take Spencer Fano this highly, you're probably going to have him starting. And he also has so much swing tackle ability. Like, if the Rams get him, who he already has short arm lengths, maybe that's my fears alleviated just a little bit because he tested out a little bit better in his arm length during his pro day. But That's a concern for me, like minor concern, is his arm length, but I don't dislike it. He has unreal speed for his size too, kind of like modern feeling where he can get downhill. And his strength isn't that great. Both of these offensive tackles for Utah, like I'm not really like sold on their strength yet, but both of their speed has been really good. And Spencer Fano was awarded the best offensive lineman in college football for a reason. So we're gonna go that. I don't dislike it at all. The Ravens go Vega Ione, guard out of Penn State. Honestly, this doesn't fit schematically at all. It really doesn't. But I think teams sometimes don't. And even with Falele going, and they also did sign John Simpson, I don't dislike Vega Ione here. He can be a high floor guard for this team. He can be really solid. I've said this to start. Even Josh Edwards seems to agree. He can be a high-end starter at the position. He can be really good. There's not much room for error in this pick because he hasn't really messed up a lot in his collegiate career. He hasn't allowed a sack in 2 years. He hasn't allowed a pressure more than 6 pressures this year. He's only allowed 5 pressures and he hasn't allowed a sack. And he's one of the best pass protection offensive linemen in this class, let alone guards. He's probably the best, obviously the best guard in this class. He's the only guard getting real first round buzz, but he's literally one of the best like pass protectors I've seen this draft cycle. Mainly because he just doesn't get up. He's so strong, and even when he doesn't have elite speed going downhill, his strength is good enough to the point where sometimes he just like muscles them away without you really using that elite speed to get downhill or in between the linebacker area. And his measurables are really good too. So I don't dislike taking Vega out here. Another strong guy, another good protector for Lamar Jackson and Derrick Henry. Not a bad option whatsoever. Bucks go Kojo Folk, edge out of Auburn. See, Edwards, this is where you mess up sometimes. This makes no sense. This team and regime has a lot of issues, mainly being that they're got the hot seat already and the season hasn't even started, training camp hasn't even started, and there's people already saying, let's get rid of their jobs. That's a big issue. Do we not take Kojo Folk, who you lacked edge rushing prowess, you lacked edge rushing like intensity, and taking Kojo Folk here is kind of saying, okay, maybe we're building for the future. Like if they take him, fine. If you develop him correctly, fine. But will you be there to develop him? That's the biggest issue. Your job might be gone by week 6. And that's the whole thing. Like, do you want to risk wasting a first round pick? I wouldn't say wasting, but I mean, essentially at this time frame, yeah, it kind of is wasting because this guy is a really high end floor rusher, but he doesn't get to the quarterback that well. And I know he did have 9 sacks in Auburn, but he needs a little bit more refinement. Sometimes his athleticism is a little too much, which I think you can coach his athleticism. It's not a knock on him. His athleticism is good, but like, do you want to take that time to continue to develop his pass rushing bag, his pass rushing skill set? That's my biggest issue. So I think taking Massador here is a better option. I think taking Sadiq here is a better option. Like someone who can provide more instant impact without actually messing up. And sometimes Kojo Folk can be a little bit gimmicky sometimes in that area. So I don't dislike taking Kojo. I do dislike taking Kojo Folk here. My bad, that was a bad pick. Jets take McCollum, wide receiver out of USC. I really hate it. If I was wrong, I actually like McCollum. He makes a lot of sense here. Another player they can just use as a chess piece, slot outside, whatever. You can play him outside. He's really fearless in between the hash. He does have all of the stuff in between the hashes, in between the middle of the field. He makes amazing air. And honestly, it's a good contrast to Garrett Wilson and Adonai Mitchell, who are both kind of go-getters and speed demons. McCollum isn't the most explosive or the most fast in terms of top-end speed in this draft class. He's good, but he's not the most fast. He ran a 4.48 or 4.47 at his pro day. But regardless, he's not the most fast, but he is a really good, like, surefire catch. He only dropped 2% of the ball thrown his way, which is not bad whatsoever. His catch point's really good for his size. He jumps up very, very high. His underrated hops. He has great route running. He finds the gaps between the zone. He's literally just another Amon-Ra St. Brown. I like it a lot, and you saw how Amon-Ra St. Brown did this well in the league, so I don't dislike it. Lions go Caden Proctor, offensive tackle out of Alabama. This is another high ceiling type pick where if you hit on Caden Proctor, he's gonna be an elite player for the rest of your life. I mean, that's just the whole area. But if with this team, you might maybe not want to do that, but this team does need a left tackle, so I wouldn't dislike it. Caden Proctor is one of the true left tackles in this class. It's I think my 3 top left tackles are Monroe Freeling, Caden Proctor, and there's one more, Caleb Blumwood. So that's my whole area with left tackles. I don't dislike taking Caden Proctor. It makes a lot of sense. I'm higher on Caden Proctor than some of the other guys because I like upside a lot more. I'm not saying I view upside into their draft value, but I do enjoy thinking about the upside. And honestly, he's produced enough to the point where I'm like, okay, maybe he can go in the first round. Like, I wouldn't dislike him going in the first round. I feel like 17 might be a little too rich for me, but I mean, it's not a bad option. I would prefer trading back because I don't really see any other team beside maybe, I don't know, the Steelers maybe taking him, so that's my issue. But we move Vikings go Dylan Thielen, safety out of Oregon. This is another great pick. I think Dylan Thielen has amazing ability to be a high floor safety, but also provide a lot of upside in the future. This makes a lot of sense. This team doesn't need a safety. This team needs a secondary. Brian Flores can use him as a chess piece. It's honestly just a really good pick. I love Dylan Thielen. He has top end speed. He has one of the best NFL talent readiness in terms of IQ as well in the safety position. I like his IQ a lot. Not as much as Downs, but I mean, I don't think I'm going to compare anyone compared to Downs. Like, watching Downs has brought me back to earth and say, wow, how does anyone even make him that good? Like, how does God construct a safety that good? That might sound like Glaze, but Jesus Christ, is he good? But Dylan Thielen goes here. I'm just like it. We're gonna go to the next pick, which is Omar Cooper Jr., wide receiver out of Indiana. I like this with Kenyon Sadiq on the board. I maybe prefer Kenyon Sadiq here, but I mean, I like Omar Cooper Jr. enough to the point where I'm like, okay, maybe it's a little bit of an upside pick too. Omar Cooper Jr. is so hard to bring down. He's literally, like I said, he's literally just like a running back in a wide receiver's body. Like, he just has the mindset of falling forward and not falling down. It kind of reminds me of like, he literally reminds me of someone who can't go down. Like, he always finds a way to get those extra 2-3 yards after the catch, and it's honestly really good. Like, and he can play anywhere. He's played everywhere at Indiana. He has crazy good hands. He's made clutch play. Specifically the Penn State one, that was crazy. That really got me on his radar when I saw the Penn State game. I was like, fuck, this guy might be a first round player. I like Omar Cooper Jr. a lot. He makes sense. It makes perfect amount of sense why he goes this high. I like it a lot. But I think this is where his range starts. I think maybe 16 is where his range starts, and then I think at the absolute latest he goes to the Browns later on. I think at 39. I think that pick 39. So I think that's the latest he falls. But Omar Cooper Jr. here is, again, it's not a bad option whatsoever. Cowboys go Colton Hood, corner out of Tennessee. Honestly, this might be a little bit high for me. I prefer Abe Montreal here. I prefer Jamal McCoy, who hasn't even gone yet. I prefer Jamal McCoy because you get someone who has a little bit more upside in terms of corner ability. I think Jamal McCoy's athleticism was elite before his ACL tear. I don't know after, so maybe in the scenario his athleticism isn't as good as it once was. I also like Abe Montreal, even with the hamstring aggravation. I prefer him over here because he's another like aggressive type corner that will eventually uplift your team in terms of intensity and physicality, which you want as a football player. It might be different if it was golf, but we're playing football, guys. I mean, it's not a very civil sport. So if you take Abe Montreal, might intensify it, but I'm gonna give flowers to Colton Hood. He's a good corner. I just don't think he's elite at a bunch of things, which I might want with more of these corners on the board. But I don't dislike taking Colton in. I just prefer someone else here, but I don't dislike Colton Hood as a prospect. So let's go Blake Miller, offensive tackle out of Clemson. I don't know if I like this. I think a guard would fit better. I think a swing tackle would fit better if you want to move on from this tackle long term. Maybe you put the swing tackle into tackle long term. That's what I prefer. But regardless, you take Blake Miller here. You gotta hope that he hits. He's another high not high upside. He's already a high floor type player. So if you take Blake Miller here, you gotta hope that he immediately starts. And this is obviously in the scenario where they move on from Broderick Jones, who has not been amazing in Steel City. So maybe you take Blake Miller here. I just don't like it. I think I prefer something else. I prefer another weapon here. Tyson here. I prefer maybe another corner. I don't dislike actually no, maybe not corner, but I don't know. I feel like I prefer guard or wide receiver here. Fits better, and there's a bigger need there than tackle. So that's my area. And he doesn't have really area to be a swing tackle. He's more of a guard to me. That's why he also is listed offensive tackle. So that's my issue. But regardless, we move. The Chargers take Emmanuel Warren, safety out of Toledo. I like this a lot. I think Emmanuel Warren is not a bad option. I think he fits this team. This team can use another high-hitting, high-explosive safety. I don't dislike it. We're going to go Emmanuel Warren here. Don't hate it whatsoever. Hey, sorry guys, a little bit of an out for change, but same opinions on these mock drafts. The Eagles go Casey Conception, wide receiver at A&M. I like Casey Conception a lot. I mean, I think I like him more. I don't think I like him first by position ranking. I don't like him that much, but he is a good prospect. I think I have him fifth. He is probably one of the best receivers in this draft cycle, mainly because his versatility and honestly some of his catch points and his whole 66% contested catch rate is really good for his size. It's honestly, there's a lot to build off of, and he has produced in college level. I mean, all these guys you've seen in the first round have produced at the college level, at least somewhat in the last couple of years. So we take Casey Conception here, you get another chess piece, and even with AJ Brown being dealt or stayed, I don't dislike Casey Conception here. I definitely think a left tackle is 100% available with the left tackle board not being super depleted, with Lane Johnson being older. But like maybe you don't force it and take another developmental tackle like Caleb Lomu or you're not sure. and just work with Casey Concepcion. I mean, take the high talent, and this team historically goes for more best player type available pick than team needs, so it's not out of the realm of possibilities. Browns go wide receiver Jordan Tyson, Arizona State. Not a bad option. I think this makes a lot of sense for the Browns, mainly because they don't have a real dominant wide receiver one. If they trade back and they get extra capital plus the extra Jordan Tyson pick, they're going to be looking good. Jordan Tyson can be the number one wide receiver regardless of the injuries. If he stays available and it's on the field, he's probably one of the best wide receivers, if not the best wide receiver in terms of talent in this class. His elite speed isn't, or his speed isn't elite, but his catch point, his acrobat, and his contortion is amazing. So if we take Jordan Tyson here, you get another high floor, not high floor, more of a home run pick if he eventually works on the NFL. So not a bad option. Bears go Peter Woods, defensive lineman out of Clemson. I don't know why people aren't mocking Peter Woods to the Bears more often. I think this is 100% a plausibility. He's probably one of the best true defensive tackles in this class, mainly because he has the most upside. I mean, I think the talent hasn't really been shown this year, mainly because teams game plan around Peter Woods because they knew he was such a big threat. We were talking about a possible top 3 pick before this year's college football season, like even preseason and like before week 1, literally before a single snap of football was played in the entirety of college football and the NFL. People were saying he was going to be a top 3 pick. Obviously, teams in college football, opposing head coaches and offensive coordinators will game plan around Peter Woods. That's a given. Mainly because he's so dominant, he's already getting top 10 buzz. Like, that's my thing with him, is that he's always hitting a game plan around the numbers are going to drop off. You've seen the same thing with Dexter Lawrence. Obviously, I think he was playing through some of his injury for a better contract. Regardless, with Dexter Lawrence, he has been one of the best defensive tackles in the league. And the numbers aren't, like, flashy or anything. The first couple of years they were. But, like, now that people know more about him, people are game planning around him because big defensive tackles make a big difference. So, that's my whole issue with people knocking on Peter Woods. So, that's my issue, but I don't dislike Peter Woods here. I like it a lot. Bills go Chase Pasantis to your offensive line out of Texas A&M. Listen, I don't like Chase Pasantis as much as in the first round. I think you could definitely use something else, maybe. I think the board might have fallen better. I think I'd prefer TJ Parker or someone else here. Not a bad option to take Chase Pasantis, though. And you take another guard here. I don't dislike it, but maybe you take somebody else here if the board falls better. Frisco takes Kenyon Sadiq, tight end out of Oregon. Not a bad option. I think this would be an awesome team pick. I think this team could use more, but honestly, he's the best player available, and if you like this player a lot, you might as well take him. I think Kenyon Sadiq can be an amazing fit for this team, and even with Kittle coming off a torn Achilles, I don't know if he'll be ready by. I don't think he'll even be ready. Like, I don't know when his timetable return is. It has to be like somewhat in mid-season because it was like in a divisional round game, so it had to have been somewhere late. So if you take Kenyon Sadiq here, you get another high floor tight end who isn't as problematic in terms of like blocking. Like, he's not going to be a mean streak blocker for you like Gronk or Kittle, but he will be someone good for you in terms of pass catching, another weapon for this team. And this team is already shopping for receivers regardless in the NFL draft. There's rumors. So Kenyon Sadiq can kind of fit both roles. Get a replacement for Kittle for the now. I mean, he can be a good rotational guy even if Kittle is not part of your long-term future because Kittle's getting older. I don't know. That makes me feel old. That Kittle is now renowned as an older player in the NFL. But time flies when you're having fun, I guess. Texans go Caleb Banks, defensive lineman out of Florida. I don't dislike it at all. I think this team could maybe swing. I wouldn't mind a team swing on Caleb Banks here, but I just wouldn't. Like, my personal opinion, I think Cam McDonald will be a little bit better because he's a nose tackle. This team doesn't run a 4-3, but he can probably shift into defensive tackle. So, as if Caleb Banks would be a better fit. But, like, I think the injury concern is too much for me for the point where I feel comfortable taking him here. But I definitely can't see an organization taking him here. So, we're going off accuracy in these mock drafts anyway. So, I wouldn't dislike taking Caleb Banks because this team could use another defensive tackle, so that's my issue. Chiefs go Chris Johnson, corner out of SDSU. I don't dislike taking Chris Johnson here, mainly because Chris Johnson can be a really good boundary corner for you. I mean, he's probably one of the better, like, more sizable boundary corners. He's 6'1", 195. He honestly has a pretty good frame as a boundary corner, but do you want to take him this highly? Mainly because of his limitations sometimes with the man coverage. So that's my big area. He has a really good zone coverage though. So I don't dislike taking Chris Johnson here. It's another area. I think definitely his range starts here. So I won't dislike him here. With the Dolphins taking Avion Terrell here, corner out of Clemson. Not a bad option. I think Avion Terrell can be an amazing fit for this team. It's a real feisty corner, real corner upside. And even if he doesn't work on boundary in the NFL, which I think he will, which him being a little bit smaller on the smaller side, I think he will fit a nickel role if he doesn't fit the boundary role, but he will probably be asked for a boundary role anyways because this team has a really bad secondary, and Jeff Hafley has ties with his corner because he was a secondary coach and a defensive coordinator, mainly working with secondary / defensive backs in Green Bay. So not a bad option to take Avion Terrell here. Patriots go Max Sinatra, offensive tackle out of Arizona State. With Morgan Moses still in place at the right tackle spot, I wanted to start taking Max Sinatra here. He's another right tackle. He has one of the highest upsides in the draft class, mainly because he's just a freakish beast. And so if you take Max Sinatra here, you get a more area to develop him as a tackle and eventually throw him in once Morgan Moses departs. When I think he has like 2 years left on his deal, 1 or 2 years left on his deal. So once Morgan Moses goes, you throw in Max Sinatra, and hopefully he's developed by the time he's already a developmental prospect who hasn't played a lot of football. So I won't dislike him here. Seahawks take TJ Parker, edge out of Clemson. Okay, the thing with TJ Parker is like he's not the most I don't know how to say it. Like, he's not the most stunning in terms of athletic abilities. Like, he's not a developmental prospect, but he can get to the quarterback. He can be a really high floor player for them. He's not the most stunning, but he's honestly a really good player, and that's why I view him more as a first-round pick, mainly because he's already such a high floor in a team, a high floor player for a team that really needs it. So I wouldn't dislike taking him. Not a team that needs it, but a team that could use another edge after losing Boye Mafe. So I don't dislike it. The Colts, because they do the second-round picks for the teams that don't have a first-round pick. Jake Holiday, Cincinnati linebacker. I think his athleticism ability will be amazing. I think Lou Aruno will utilize him well with his size. It sounds like I'm ripping him off, but like genuinely, that's what I say regardless. But his size and his athleticism might be able to get him. He didn't test up particularly well in the combine, but I really don't mind that much because I've seen on tape he doesn't look that bad. So I wouldn't mind making a second-round pick for him for a team that's also lost some linebacker depth regardless. So with Zaire Franklin gone, so I want to dislike taking Jake Holiday here. The Falcons take Gabe Jacas, edge out of Illinois. This, honestly, I can't really give you an in-depth analysis. I mean, I'm just going to talk about the player because I don't know who's off and who's on. So, if in this scenario, my perfect pick would be Brandon C. Safe. You can go here, but I don't know if he's gone before this. So, take that how you will. But regardless, he goes here. With the upcoming, with James Pierce Jr., with the whole area with him, with his wife, may God have mercy on him. Please let that man be okay and do whatever it needs to do so he can get back on the football field and be just a fine person, because he already did have character concerns coming out of Tennessee. So if you take Gabe Jacas here, another player who's been inconsistent but sometimes just showing flashes of greatness, so I wouldn't mind taking a second round pick on him. So not a bad option. This team doesn't need edge too, especially with James Pierce Jr. gone. Packers take Christian Miller, defensive tackle out of Georgia. I honestly don't dislike this either. I think this team needs a defensive tackle. They've been in the market for Dexter Lawrence, I think. They've been like one of the teams inquiring and talking about him. I would dislike taking Christian Miller here. He has real upside, and he doesn't move that. He honestly moves really quickly for his size, so I wouldn't dislike taking Christian Miller here. Makes sense. We're gonna go Christian Miller here. Makes sense. Number 56, Caleb Proctor goes number 56 overall. I know people are really high on Caleb Proctor. I haven't really watched his film. He's been getting a lot of buzz recently. I don't know. Maybe he'll be good. I don't know. I haven't really watched this, but let's read his description. Okay, well, if you think he's good here, I don't dislike it, but like, if I need to watch this film, I need to see his athletic profile, I need to see his frame and everything, and I'll give you guys a in-depth analysis. I'm not gonna bullshit and say I don't know. I know this prospect when I really haven't watched that much film. I actually haven't really had him on my radar at all, so maybe I start looking more deeply into it. So let's watch the film and let's see. So yeah, someone else on my board. Number 62, the Broncos goes Akeem Wheatley, Penn State. This is someone I have watched and someone I actually really like. His athletic ability is really good. I don't think he's the best safety. Obviously I don't like him as much as Downs, Thieneman, or Warren, but I honestly like him more than Ramsey, and I think he's honestly better than some of these other players. So I might have him mocked in the second round now because my king Josh Edwards does it. Maybe I do it. But regardless, I like Akeem Wheatley. He has honestly a little good flexibility too. He can be an amazing team player, and if you develop him correctly, he can be a real athletic beast for you. So I don't dislike it either. This team could honestly use another piece on the defensive tackle side, or even linebacker. I wouldn't hate linebacker here. And their whole free agency was just re-signing and retaining players they already didn't want, with the exception of John Franklin Myers, which Tennessee threw a bag at. So I was fine you didn't overpay for him. But regardless, he goes here. I don't dislike it. We're going to go with Akeem Wheatley. And that's it. Thank you all for watching. This is the end of my mock draft. Josh Edwards strikes again. This is one of his not so great mock drafts. I'm not going to be lying. I mean, it was fine. It wasn't anything spectacular, though. But regardless, I love you, Josh Edwards. Keep doing your thing. CBS, keep doing your thing. PFF, keep doing your thing. Everybody keep doing their thing, man. We all enjoy you, bro. You matter. I love you, bro. If no one says you love you, bro, I love you, gang. You matter. You matter. Remember, no, don't let anyone else tell you that. You matter. You deserve it. I don't know how this got really sad and convincing or whatever, but thank you all for watching. I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace out.